Your dog has the entire house to wander around in, but for some silly reason, they always seem to pick the same spot to rest time and time again. Sound familiar? Why do they do that? What makes that one spot so special to them? Well, here's the thing. Their fave sleeping or lounging spots are not random. It can actually reveal a lot about their personality and mood, maybe even their health. Let's explore what your dog's favorite spot in the house says about them. 1. Cozy hiding places. Does your dog love sleeping under the bed, behind the couch, or squeezed into a tight corner? Perhaps curled up in a box like a cat? This is totally normal. Some dogs naturally seek out enclosed spaces because they provide a sense of security. They're quite literally surrounding themselves with a little fort. This behavior stems from their instincts. After all, they are descended from wild animals, and wild canines often rest in dens for protection. If your dog loves curling up in a tight space, they might be feeling anxious and are looking for comfort. Some animal behaviorists think that dogs that frequently retreat to hidden spots may sadly be dealing with stress, loud noises, or overstimulation. So if this sounds like your dog, it may be worth exploring if any of those issues are applicable to their situation. Don't be too concerned right away because it doesn't definitely mean this. Some dogs simply enjoy solitude and a quiet place to hang their hat. The real sign that this is something to worry about is if they don't normally do this but suddenly start to, or if they do but there's a sudden increase in doing it. Remember, you know your dog better than anyone. If it seems abnormal to you, it probably is. 2. Warm spots. Everyone knows that cats are curling up near a radiator, sunbathing in a warm patch of light, or even sneaking onto your heated floors. But some of you dog parents might be screaming, "That's also true of my dog." Because yes, this is also common behavior for pooches. Dogs have a lower tolerance for heat than cats due to their fur, but they still seek out warmth for comfort, especially smaller breeds or older dogs who may have joint pain or arthritis. In fact, vets even say that warmth helps soothe aches and pains, which is why senior dogs often gravitate toward heat sources. If you have an elderly dog who has started hanging out by radiators more often, this is why. Dogs, just like cats and just like us, love to be warm and cozy. If your pup is always seeking warmth, why not treat them and make sure they have their soft blankets or even a heated dog bed to curl up in? But if they're older, consider a visit to the vet just to touch base and see if it is the result of problems with their joints. 3. By the window. Does your dog love lounging by the window, staring outside for hours? They're not alone. Many dogs love to watch the world roll by. From people walking past to birds fluttering by, the great outdoors fascinates them. There's a reason they love going for walks so much after all. If this sounds like your doggo, the good news is this behavior is a common sign of an intelligent dog who desires and craves as much mental stimulation as they can fill their eyes up with. Watching the outside world keeps them entertained and engaged, especially if they're also the kind of dog that loves to chase things. With that said, excessive window watching can often indicate frustrated or even territorial behavior, especially when paired with barking. So it might be wise to keep an eye on your dog's relationship with the window to ascertain if they're simply enjoying what's on the other side of the window or actively trying to protect you from it. If your dog is one of the many in the world that loves a window, I'd recommend setting up a comfy bed nearby so they can relax and observe their territory without stress. If hanging by the window and what they see outside leads to excessive barking, you may need to provide more playtime and exercise to burn off that extra energy. But come on, any excuse to play with your dog is a good excuse, right? 4. Right in the middle of everything. But while some dogs keep themselves away from the action, loitering at the window, others like to be slap bang in the middle of it. Is your dog always lounging in high-traffic areas, like hallways, doorways, or splayed across the middle of the living room like a rug? This is because some dogs prefer being right where the action is, so they don't miss anything. In short, they have FOMO. This is especially common in social breeds. Those of you with Labradors and Golden Retrievers will be very familiar with this. If your dog always picks the busiest spots in the house, while this might be annoying for you at times, it's ultimately a good sign. It means they are outgoing and confident, and who doesn't want to be both of those things? If your dog is like this, embrace it and make sure they have a comfy bed with a social area. This will feel like an invitation to join the heart of the action and give them a comfortable place to chill while hanging with everyone. 5. On your clothes, or anything that smells like you. Have you ever found your dog curled up on your pile of laundry? Or do they always steal your blanket the moment you get up? It might seem odd, but from a dog point of view, it is totally logical. Remember, they are very scent-driven, and one of their fave smells in the world is you. So by extension, anything that smells of you appeals to them. If a human were to crawl up in your laundry because they loved how it smelt of you and that soothed them, you'd rightfully call the police. But in dogs, it's a clear sign of attachment and affection that you should embrace, as it makes clear you've obviously treated them in such a way that makes them feel loved and protected. With that said, your fresh laundry suddenly being jumped on by a hulking Great Dane might make it not so fresh anymore. Thankfully, they will always prefer the smell of unclean clothes, as that smells the most like you. So if your dog always does this and you're annoyed it's ruining your clean clothes and linen, give them a stinky, unwashed sweater or a t-shirt to cozy up on instead. Having basically just said that if your dog loves sleeping on your clothes, it means they adore you and find your scent reassuring, hooray, let's do the Congo. I'm now going to contradict myself. This behavior can sometimes be bad. If your dog is doing this excessively, it may indicate they need more quality time with you, or reassurance when you're away. Because seeking out your scent when you're not around can be a sign of separation anxiety. If you feel this might be true of your dog and that they're clambering into your laundry a bit too often, maybe have a word with the neighbors and ask if your poor lonely dog has also been excessively barking while you're away. Or look out for other signs of separation anxiety like chewing of furniture. 6. Right next to you. But sometimes hanging out on a pile of your clothes is not enough to get the high dosage of human stench they so desperately want to envelop themselves in. Sorry, I worded that a bit weirdly. The ultimate sign of love and trust is when your best pal chooses to hang with you, sleeping right there with you. When your dog chooses to sleep right next to you, whether they curl up at your feet or snuggle into your side, it's a sign they feel safe and deeply bonded with you. Dogs are pack animals, and sleeping close to their leader is an instinctive behavior. If they do this with you, it means they have elected you to be the leader of the pack and trust you with keeping them and everyone else they consider part of the gang safe. No pressure then. 7. In their crate or another contained space. While they are less common these days, many pet parents might have a crate or other kind of contained space for their furry friends to sleep in. It's common for dogs to dislike this, but if your dog actively chooses to sleep in that crate, this is a good sign. It means they've come to see it as their den and feel safe there. Given the negative connotations many dogs might have with crates, it being used to carry them to the vet, for example, if you've cultivated an environment in which they feel safe in their crate, you've clearly made a wonderful home. But of course, here we come with the negativity again. Doing anything too much is always a bad sign. If they're retreating there too often, or sometimes even refusing to come out, it could indicate stress or illness, or ironically, seeing as they won't leave the crate, a desire for more social interaction. Be sure to keep an eye on your dog's vibes and figure out if they're choosing their crate happily or for some other reason. If your dog suddenly starts hiding in their crate more than usual, a vet visit is a good idea to rule out if it's the result of health issues. And that is what your dog's favorite place to hang, and snooze of course, says about them. Though if you'd rather they were hanging with you than under the bed or whatever, you'll need to become irresistible to them. And you can find out more about how in this next video.